Hi everyone, this is Pear. Here's the thing. I made a recording for the next part of Blacksad, but when I got into the editing process, I found out all of the game audio was not recorded. None of the music, the voices, or anything, not even the sound effects, was included. And there was no easy way to recover it without losing my first experience in that part of the game. I really wanted to keep my first experience in the game intact. To make up for the missing game audio, I've decided to make a summary video of the game. I've also invited Komikai as a guest to voice some of the characters in the game since their original voices are gone. Komikai also has a YouTube channel. If you want to check it out, I'll leave a link down in the description below. Anyway, let's begin. So we start off with Blacksad in a suit, visiting a moose named Farnham at his hotel room. I got Blacksad to introduce himself as someone who works for Frank Cassidy.
John Blackmore. I work for Frank Cassidy. I lied. I'm actually here to steal your identity.
Ah, hello, Blacksad. Yes, come on in. Take my identity. I'll pass out on the bed.
Here, Blacksad attempts to befriend Farnham because he needs as much information as possible to successfully impersonate him at a poker game run by Cassidy. In the next scene, we jump ahead and see Blacksad approach the barbershop, which supposedly is where the poker game is held. In this case, we knew the poker game was going to happen, but that didn't pan out too well.
Howdy there, gent. I'm here to play some poker. Sorry, sir. I'm a barber, not a poker. Get out of here. Leave me alone.
Shit. I want a poker. How could I have been so blind? No!
Second time, I chose the option to try to remember. And what happens is that it takes me back to the past where we visited Farnham at the hotel. And this is where they get me to investigate the scene for clues inside of Blacksad's mind, only to prove that I'm really Farnham himself.
Something Vietnamese shave. Oh, come on in. You don't look Vietnamese.
Now here I am with the barber, and he begins to interrogate me even more, in the guise of a clean shave that is too close for comfort. The game gives me more options to respond, but the obviously correct option is to try to remember. And what happens is that it takes me back to the past where we visited Farnham at the hotel. And this is where they get me to investigate the scene for clues inside of Blacksad's mind, only to prove that I'm really Farnham himself. After Farnham once again passes out from alcohol, we find the answer to the barber's first question. After getting the answer correct, the barber asks another question. I thought we could get away with not knowing our referral's last name, but boy was I wrong.
Kenny. Spaghetti sauce?
No, I don't have any spaghetti. Oh no! Hot sauce on my stick!
And then we had no choice but to try and remember yet again. I revisit the memory, but Blacksad's inner monologue takes time away from looking for clues, not to mention the distracting collectibles throughout the scene.
Can't believe I'm improvising all of these lines. It's really hurting my creativity. I don't think my brain can keep up with interacting with so many objects and thinking of so many creative jokes. Oh, why is there a hippo here? Why is it looking at me with love in his eyes? Why do I have to keep narrating?
Time runs out and Blacksad meets another gruesome end.
Sweet release.
Replaying the memory, I finally found the answer to Kenny's last name. But then as soon as that is over, the barber asks me another question.
You know Cassidy doesn't have any hair, right? Why does he keep coming here?
According to my previous choices, I believed I had no choice but to try to remember. Time almost ran out, but it was interrupted with Cassidy entering the scene. Cassidy defended me, saying that I'm his new friend, but even then, I'm put into another threatening situation where I have to hand out my gun. Here's the thing. I thought Blackside would know if he had a gun or not, so I tried to tell them I had no gun because Blackside didn't say anything. I end up dying twice thinking this way.
Hey, I'm walking here. What do you think you're doing in my seat, pal? Billy Bob, get rid of this fool. He's in my seat. Oh no, not the spaghetti sauce again.
So I finally chose the option to try to remember. And after running out of time once and dying for the third time, I found a gun in Farnham's left side of the closet. Blackside handed out his gun, and I'm left confused on why or how that is a valid choice to make in this game if I have no clue to knowing if a gun exists or not, unless I play the try to remember game, which in itself is a choice to make. So now we have arrived here at the poker game.
Hey, I'm introducing here. On my right is a bird named Oswald Quince. He's smoking. I don't like smokers at my table. Aha, chapped ass. I'm the best smoker in this table.
At the beginning of the game, I chose to brag about my poker skills.
Well, partner, seems like you're out of luck. This is a poker table. And I know how to play poker. There's only one secret to playing poker, and it's played poker. And on my left is not Middle Eastern, but Italian, Pauli.
Hey, Frank, I make a spicy meatball.
Typical Pauli. Pauli.
Frank, have you seen my meatball? I think it been stolen. I love a meatball, right, Frank?
I love a meatball too. Well, what in tarnation are you guys saying?
After that, the reptile Paulie invites me to his place called La Iguana, and I accepted it. After becoming friendly with the group, I began to ask questions about homicidal boxes. Apparently, Cassidy convinced the governor to release Stone out of prison under a police escort. Meanwhile, I chose to lose the poker game on purpose, but just to double check that I'm still Farnham, they asked me about Kenny's wife's condition. I tried to remember. It turns out Kenny's wife is in rehab. After answering the question correctly, since I chose to lose on purpose, the poker game takes a turn for the worse where Quince is on a winning streak.
Well, looks like the only thing that's missing here is your coins, because I'd be winning them all. I'm Quince. Why is that bird staring at me?
While Quince was enjoying himself, I asked about Stone and Helen Moore's affair. Cassidy says that he is worried about the affair affecting Stone's performance. Then I ask about Joe Dunn. Cassidy talks about his death, admitting his support for the killer. Afterwards, they question me about how many kids I have. Choosing the correct option, I revisited the time Farnham passed out. I was given a quick time event to save Farnham from choking on his own vomit, but I messed up.
And now I'll just watch you die, Farnham. I'm watching you die slowly. Give me that ass.
Eventually, I found out that Farnham had 6 kids. While Quince continued talking on about the way he treats little girls, I discovered an ace up his sleeve. He was cheating this whole time. I made the choice to rat him out.
Well, rootin' tootin' shootin' patootin', Quince. What's that up your sleeve? Is that a card or a meatball, or you just happen to see me?
What are you talking about, you stupid cat? I'm the fuck. God, help me. No, don't touch my head. Don't look at it, please.
Well, I always knew you was a snake instead of an eagle. Now I know the truth. Dumbass Quince. Billy Bob. 500 to wash his clothes up.
To my surprise, he gets executed.
I've been executed.
After that, Cassidy offers to do more business with Farnham, but Blacksad writes a fake letter later on, cutting ties between Farnham and Cassidy. Blacksad has a bad dream because he feels that getting beat up helps him sleep well at night. Then he gets a call from Sonia. It turns out, her office was ransacked. No money was taken, and Joe Dunn's will wasn't taken either. But I found 2 other things. A footprint on a document, and a paper tissue that smells like sardines. Here, I make a new deduction. I find out that O'Leary and Helen Moore still have feelings for each other. As I exit the office, I find 2 more clues. The cleaning lady's purse, and a torn piece of jeans on the staircase. With these pieces of evidence, Blacksad imagines the burglar was caught by the cleaning lady and chased her up the stairs. This leads me upstairs to the roof, where Blacksad finds the cleaning lady dead, who appears to be stabbed in the back. As an added little detail, she was holding a photo of what looks like herself and her 2 daughters. Sonia rushes in and also sees the body, dropping to her knees distraught. Blacksad tells Sonia that it would be dangerous to stay in her father's apartment, but she tells him she was staying at a friend's place. Thinking that Joe Dunn's apartment would be the killer's next target, Blacksad decides that that will be his next stop. Upon arrival, Joe Dunn's apartment door appears to be locked from the inside. What do we do to solve this problem? We bash the door down. As we explore the apartment, we come across an old photo with some familiar faces. I could have sworn the reptile on the right was the doctor I bumped into in the hospital, where Bobby Yale was hospitalized. We continued on into the kitchen and found an empty can that smelled like sardines. Seems important. Then I find out that there's a document that tells us Joe Dunn and Mary bought an apartment together, and that this apartment had to be empty in 2 weeks for the new owners to move in. Then we stumble into Sonia's childhood bedroom. We discover a music box, an abacus, a poster of some pop star, and a baseball glove signed by Spano. Next, I went to Joe Dunn's bedroom, and I find a notebook with entries written for Mary.
Wow, smart.
I also found a painting of a tree with a tire swing, painted by Joe Dunn's deceased wife, Elaine. I made a deduction about the empty can and the paper tissue that smelled like sardines, and concluded that the burglar who killed the cleaning lady searched Joe Dunn's apartment before heading to the gym to search for something that we don't know about yet. Now we appear in Thorpe's office, showing him the photo we found in Joe Dunn's apartment. He reveals to us that the group in the photo are called the Olympic Five. Then we talked about Thorpe's accident. He doesn't appear to be too bothered by it. He tells us that he fought in aerial combat in Europe 3 years ago. During that time, Zukovsky died on the same day Joe Dunn was injured, and after that, Dunn quit boxing and opened his gym. He also added that Mitchell was redeployed to a field hospital, with Spanner and Thorpe continuing their tour in the same unit. Afterwards, we asked about Spanner, finding out that he was doing well advertising with the help of Thorpe, but one day he changed, withdrawing from the public and breaking off their friendship. Thorpe didn't hear again from him for 3 years, losing touch with Mitchell somewhere along the way. We also mentioned that we thought we saw Mitchell from not too long ago. Then we asked if Spanner could be involved in Joe Dunn's murder, but Thorpe wasn't sure, and he quickly offered to double our wage to find the murderer. He thinks Joe Dunn might have contacted Mitchell or Spanner at some point, and told us maybe Sonia knows. Blacksad doubts it, but he has other questions for her in mind. Then we meet Sonia on the gym rooftop. This is where Sonia finally reveals her family's backstory. She mentioned that the reason she moved away to New York was that her mother was sick and needed the medicine, but passed away anyways. Sonia's father later shut himself off, drinking away and losing to booze. This caused Sonia to resent both of her parents. She continued to open up about not knowing how to live without hating her father, because she became accustomed to hating him every moment instead of hating herself. During this conversation, the game prompted me to compliment her, so I decided to pick the one with all the compliments. She didn't like that. Blacksad later reveals that Dunn was actually selling his apartment and encourages Sonia to talk to Mary. We also told her we found Spano's baseball glove inside her childhood room. She says she's never seen it, but she thinks her father might have put it there, unsure if her father had the glove in the first place or not. Then we mentioned a music box. It was one of her last happy memories. Long before her mother was sick, Sonia loved pirate stories. Her father decided to draw a treasure map for her, putting clues around the house which led her to a tree with a tire swing. Underneath the tire swing, she dug up the treasure her dad buried, which turned out to be the music box. She loved it. Afterwards, we tell her that we found a picture taken during the war. She tells us later that Thorpe isn't her uncle, telling us that instead her father loved Thorpe like a brother. She tells us a story that her father was flying over Britain in a plane. Her father was a co-pilot while Sukovsky was the pilot and Thorpe manned the turret. During a dogfight, Sukovsky was killed and her father was injured. Thorpe jumped out from the gunport and piloted the plane, landing it to safety. Sonia said that this is a story her father has told her many times. We tried to ask about Mitchell, but Sonia knew nothing. Afterwards, the scene prompted us to try to ask her how cold she is, possibly leading us to a more intimate route. But I didn't take it because it seemed a tad inappropriate. In the end, we still managed to make Sonia feel better. After the investigation, we deduced that Dunn might have hidden something under the tire tree. But during that time, we are attacked by an anteater. Sonia attempts to help us, getting knocked out in the process. Then I die from pressing the wrong button. Round 2, I overcome the anteater, throwing him onto a softer landing spot which is completely different compared to Blacksad's previous landing spot. Later in the hospital, we find the anteater who survived the fall. We discovered that the anteater smells like sardines and the boots he wears match the footprint in Sonia's office. He also has a pair of jeans with a tear in it. Smirnov tells us the anteater's name is Randall Lee. We come to the conclusion that this is the same guy who was at Sonia's office and Joe Dunn's apartment. We tried to prove this to Smirnov with every bit of evidence that we found, but every time he would respond that it wasn't conclusive or good enough.
I've seen those pants. They're the traveling pants. No, they're not. He's an anteater and he's eating sardines. That's weird, man. Well, I don't think it's weird. Chief, we can literally see what fucking shoe he's wearing. No, we can't. I don't think so.
We also find out that the anteater was one of the thugs who assaulted Blacksad in the alleyway.
I literally saw him attack me. No, you didn't.
Smirnov asked about Yale, but I responded that he's innocent and he might be hiding something. Smirnov then informs us that Yale made a quick recovery and that he was discharged from the hospital into police custody. Smirnov himself was told to escort Bobby Yale to Madison Square Garden on the day of the fight. Afterwards, the anteater woke up, and going with bad cop, I begin to interrogate him, going all out.
I'm the bad guy. Instead of eating ants, do you want to be eaten out of a straw? Trash bags won't save you when I throw you off this building. Do you feel lucky?
Okay, bro. Jeez, I'll talk. I just need 2 things. Protection.
In the end, I successfully scared the anteater into talking.
And a club sandwich.
But before he could spill the beans, he was taken out by an assassin from the window behind the billboard, injuring Smirnov in the process and killing Randall Lee.
Well, he got me in the shoulder after all, Blacksad. You got the point that's the most weakest on me. It's over. Goodbye. I'm dying. No, you're not. You're just smoking, idiot.